Every once in a while, a company will invite us to do a review on one of their products, and we're such a small YouTube channel, so we still get pretty excited when this happens. However, there are times where we just won't do reviews, or we actually refuse to do the review. And usually it's because it's a product that we just can't use. It's something we won't use our normal everyday RVing life. And if we don't use it, don't have time using the product, I can't give you an honest review. However, HOTO just reached out to us and asked us if we wouldn't mind doing a review on their Air Pump Master. And this one we got pretty excited for. Now, if you've been following us along at all, you know we recently got some e-bikes earlier this year, and it got me thinking I really wouldn't mind having some kind of a portable air pump, something, you know, for emergencies. Now, we do have a pretty good sized air pump in the back of the truck, but I really wanted something I could take with me, portable and even battery operated. So with the e-bikes, it got me thinking. Then I got thinking, well, why not for our air mattress? Why not for the truck? And why not even for the RV? So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over the HOTO Air Pump Master. We're going to go through some of the stuff that comes in the box. We'll talk a little bit about some of the main functionality and the features of the air pump. And then we're going to give it a test. Now, the air pump does say, the documentation says this thing can pump up to 150 PSI. Our RV tires take 125 PSI. So we're going to put this to the test. But first, let's go through some of the components that come inside the box. This is the Air Pump Master that HOTO sent to us. And before we get into anything else, let's go through what came in the box. So very first thing we have is basically it's just a bag to keep everything in. Now, personally, I do like this concept because there's a lot of small pieces that come in this kit. I can throw everything in the bag and keep everything together. Also, if I'm going maybe car camping or I need to take my pump somewhere, I'm not putting everything in different bags and trying to find everything. Everything's in one place. So this is a pretty good idea. We also have, this is a high pressure tube. So one end of this would screw onto the pump. The other end, there's some adapters on here that would screw into like maybe your car tire or an RV tire or something like that. So a high pressure tube. We also have what's called a bellows. Now this is more for high flow rates. This is stuff for more like if you're blowing up an inflatable tent, maybe blowing up an air mattress, a paddle board, a kayak, a canoe, something like that. You can use this bellows. Now this is something I hope I never have to use, but it's nice to have in the kit. This is basically a 12-volt power supply to the pump. Now, when I'm thinking of a portable pump, I don't want to have to worry about plugging it into something. And the nice thing about this pump is you don't have to, because it does come with batteries or rechargeable batteries. And that brings us to our next little item in the kit. This is just a USB port charging, Type-C charging cable. So the batteries inside the pump can get charged up via the USB ports. That's pretty nice. Now, the kit also comes with a whole bunch of valves. We'll start out with just the typical valve you see everywhere. This would be for blowing up things like footballs, basketballs, volleyballs, things like that. A lot of different sports balls in particular that you can use this. It also comes with a French adapter. Now, I've never been to France, so I have no idea how to use this thing, but I guess if I ever go, I'll throw it in my pocket just in case I decide to play basketball one day. This is a quick connect. This actually screws onto the high pressure hose. This, I'm thinking we're going to use more often than not. This would go onto your vehicle tire, like a truck tire, in our particular case, an RV tire or a bike tire. So this will get used quite often. We also have, this is basically, they call it just a pointing valve. This would be used with the bellows. It would screw on to here. And this can be used for things like yoga balls, and we also have swim rings. So swimming, the big swim noodles, inner tube type things like that, you could use something like this. We also have, this is called a short conversion valve, and this is used for stand-up paddle boards. So you have one of these. And then we also have a long conversion valve, and this could be used for things like blow-up tents. So you got a lot of different options here. We also have a large valve. This is things for like blow up canoes and kayaks. And then we also have a little medium valve. This would be things like blow up beds or mattresses and things like that. And of course, the granddaddy of the whole package is the actual Air Pump Master itself. So now we know what comes in the kit. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the pump, some of the functionality, and the how to basically operate the pump. Now that we know what comes with the air pump, let's talk a little bit about some of the features. Now, the very first thing, this is something I really like about this, it does have smart chip technology. What that really means is we can set this pump up, let's say for an example, pump up a bicycle tire to 30 PSI. Once that PSI is reached, it will shut off automatically. So that's pretty nice. Something else nice about this, and the reason why I would consider this a portable air pump is it comes with three 2500 milliamp hour lithium rechargeable lithium batteries. So we don't need to plug this in anywhere. We can take this with us as is, and as long as the batteries are charged, we should be able to pump up our tires as well. It also has a dual core pumps. What that really means is it has a high flow rate pump, which can has a max airflow of 350 liters per minute, and it also has a high pressure pump that goes up to 150 psi. The other option is these pumps are set up to run off of either 12 volt DC, that's with that cigarette lighter, or again with those lithium batteries. So that's some of the basic features of the pump itself. And let's go into how to operate the pump. Now that we've seen some of the features of the pump, let's go over some of the functionality as well. Hopefully you can see this here. This is a power button. This is how you would turn it on. You just hold it down for a couple of seconds. The way you tell that it's turned on is on the control knob up here. You'll see a little LED screen light up. Once it is turned on, you can quick press the power button as well, and you'll see it has a built-in flashlight. To turn it off, again, you'd hold the power button down for a couple seconds and it would turn off. Now, something that's kind of nice about this, it has all these presets built in. Hopefully you can see this. This is on the tent. So if you're going to inflate or blow up an inflatable tent, they have a preset for that. And these are basically kind of generalized categories, but the tent, it has a window of anywhere from 6 to 10 PSI with a default of 8. So if it's on 10, I can press this one time. You'll see, hopefully you can see this, 8 is flashing. I can adjust it up to 10 max or down to 6 minimum. Once this is adjusted, you hit it one more time, and it'll start and deflate your tent. Now, it also has a lot of other presets as well. Let me try to get through here. We have this is the stand-up paddleboard. This has a default value of 12 PSI, and it will go anywhere from 1 PSI all the way up to 18 PSI. Another option we have is mattresses, air mattresses. This has a default value of 0.5 PSI, and it will go anywhere from 0.3 to 0.6 PSI. Another option, this here is balls. You can think of basketballs, footballs, volleyballs, things like that. This has a default value of 8 PSI, and anywhere from 4 to 16 PSI. You can make adjustments for that as well. And let me get back to where we're at. Cars. So this is something we're going to use. We're going to test this one out. This one has a default value of 36 PSI. It can go anywhere from 26 all the way up to 51 PSI. Pretty good for most standard vehicles. Our truck, I'm going to show you a different way to do it because our truck takes a lot more than that. This is the bicycle. Bicycle has a default value of 45 PSI, and it goes anywhere from 26 to 51 PSI. And we're actually going to do another way for our e-bikes because I like our tires to be a little bit softer than the 26 PSI. This last one here, this next one is the high flow custom. So what that really means is this is that bellows again. This is again inflatable tents, air mattresses, things like that, stand-up paddle boards, inflatable kayaks and canoes. If by chance one of these preset categories you does not have the correct PSI for you, you can always come over to this one. This is custom, and it will cover, you know, anything that you need for that within a range. Next one is the high pressure custom fitting or custom setting. This one has a default of 35 PSI, but can actually go anywhere from 3 PSI all the way up to 150 PSI. This is where we're going to have to use on our truck when we test that out, and also on our RV. My front tires of my truck goes up to 75 PSI, and like I mentioned earlier, the RV is 125 PSI. So that's definitely out of the range of the preset windows. So now we have all this. We know but most of the functionality. You can see the high pressure hose would attach here. The bellows would also attach around the outside of this. And then the charging port, this is the USB charging port here as well. So it's very very streamlined, very sleek looking. I think it's a nice design, very clean. It's got a nice little knob on the top, you know, easy. It's very easy to operate. So we've been using this for a little while now, and I really like it. So again, I'm going to just go ahead and turn this off, hold the power button down for a few seconds, and you'll see this is turned off. So now we've gone through some of the features and how to operate this thing. Next thing we're going to do, I think we're going to start out simple. We'll start out with an air mattress. We'll see about blowing that up, see how this works, see how it handles it, and then we're going to work our way up to the grand finale to see if this thing will actually pump up an RV tire. All right, let's get started. This is actually a backpacking air mattress. It does have a kind of a very, very strange inflator port here, so hopefully I can get this to work. I am using the bellows, and this is the medium-sized valve. I also have my phone here. I'm going to try to time this as best I can. We'll just see how long it takes to blow it up. So I'm going to try to get this in here, get this all set. I want to make sure I'm not pinching anything in the back. Now I am going to go ahead and start the pump. I have this set to air mattress. I'm going to put it on 0.6. Let's give it a shot. We'll start this. Okay, couple things right off the bat. It did stop on its own. This isn't 100% accurate, but it took about 12 to 13 seconds to pump this up. So this worked pretty well. And again, this does have a kind of a strange valve here, so I was glad it worked for this. So this was pretty easy, so let's get on to our next test. Okay, on to our next test. I have one of our e-bikes here. Now what I'm going to do is, you remember the presets for bicycles, the lowest you can go is 30 PSI. I like to run these a little bit lower than that. I like to run these at 25 PSI. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the custom high pressure setting, and that way there I can turn this down to 25 PSI. The other thing I'm going to try to do for this test and our other tests we're going to do, I'm going to add 5 PSI for each of our tests, kind of keep them similar so we can kind of compare how long it takes for each of these to do 5 PSI. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and turn this on. I am at the high pressure setting. I'm just going to hit it one time. I can see right now the bicycle is at 20 PSI. I will turn this up to 25. And again, I have my stopwatch or my timer. Let's just see how long this takes to pump up 5 PSI on an e-bike. I didn't hit the button in time, but it's like right at 25 seconds. So that gives just kind of a general idea, about 25 seconds to go 5 PSI on the e-bike. Stop by itself, everything is good. So now what we can do is go on to our next test. Hopefully what I'm about to tell you doesn't ruin our YouTube channel or stop companies from asking us to do reviews on their products. However, if they have quality products, they shouldn't worry about it. We've always told you we'll tell you the truth, and that's what I'm getting ready to tell you right now. I really had high hopes for this HOTO air pump. It was perfect for us, perfect for our situation. It was great for the air mattress. It worked great for the e-bikes. Then what happened? Epic fail. I really wanted to test this on one of our RV tires, and our RV tires go up to 125 psi. Now, preparation for that test, I needed to pump up one of my spare tires to 120 psi. Then I was going to video the last 5 psi of that. So in prep of that, I did use this pump. I started at 77 psi. Started pumping it up. We got up to about 105 psi. Then my batteries died. Not that big of a deal because I didn't have full batteries when I started. I recharged my batteries, and then this morning I went to go the rest of the way from 105 up to 120 psi. It started going okay. Then I started to smell something. This did get a little bit warm. My guess is it probably overheated, but now I can't get this to pump any more than about 110, 115 psi. I thought it might be because the batteries just couldn't handle that high of a pressure. I did plug it into the cigarette lighter. I used the cigarette lighter to power this up. Had the truck running, same thing, it just would not pump anymore. So I do think I fried the high pressure pump on here. I really wish this would have worked. Like I said, it was great in the beginning. It's perfect for what we really wanted, but honestly, I just can't recommend this product. If it broke for us like that after a couple uses, I don't know what's going to happen. So hopefully you got something out of this review. Again, we're always going to be honest with you. Hopefully I didn't ruin our chances for other reviews from other companies. However, HOTO probably won't contact us again, but you know what's going on. You know the truth. Remember, always live life to the fullest.